Welcome guys, it is awesome to have you back for another episode of the XJ650 build. In this episode, we are going to be continuing working on the forks and getting that front end fitted. We had to wait for a few more tools and things to come in the post before we could continue, but everything's here. We've got everything that we need, and yes, let's get straight into the video. So in the last video we took off the original front end as a whole, complete, and made way for the new Triumph Daytona 955i front end. That came with some issues in itself, starting with the spindles. The spindles are actually a very similar size. On bearing sizes, the internal diameters are identical. However, they are different in different areas. This is the original, and this one has an internal thread and a little bit of a little tapered edge, and then more thread further down. Where this one has no internal thread, but it's tapered quite far down. After having the forks arrive and inspecting it all, I realised that it's not as easy as I first thought, as always. After having a further inspection, there's only slight alterations that we need to make to get these to fit. Some people in the comments in the last video said, oh, why don't I just press this one out and put it into this? It doesn't work as simple as that. So this is the top yoke for the new one, and this is the old stem, and for some reason it doesn't fit on. It's just slightly too small on this behalf, or slightly too chunky on this behalf, making this not fit, or there's no way of that fitting without doing some drastic work to this to make this fit. And I don't feel confident enough cutting out that hole big enough to make this fit. I feel that'll be a real dangerous move to make. So we are not going with that idea. We're not going to be using this stem. But what we will be doing though, oh shit! Motherfucker! How did that happen? Ooh. How's that snap? Okay. Oh. Back in business, back in business. So what we are going to be doing is putting a thread on the inside here. Again, some of you commented saying that's not a good idea. I've taken this to a machinist and we've measured it all out, and we've worked out it should be fine with an M16 thread. There's not going to be any structural integrity lost. There's plenty of sidewall material for it to work, and let me just show you why I think this is the best way for this to work. So you can see this thread does come through the top. When we put the top cap on and the center nut locking collar, whatever you want to call it, when we put this on, that's going to take up most of the weight of the forks, and this actually fits in the bearing perfectly, so the inside diameter of the bearing is onto that nut. So let me just tighten this up. As I said, I still need to cut these off, and what I'm going to be doing is buying some CNC machined ones that you can pre-buy, and smooth all this down and then put them in place where they need to be. So now that's on, we haven't got much thread left for the top. So that's what I mean, there's not much thread left, it's just... So as you can see, there is about a 5mm gap before the thread even gets to this point here where a washer would sit. Hence why I want to tap this through so I can have a bolt, so I can have a washer sitting in there so it bolts just straight in and ties everything up. Because at the end of the day, all it is doing is holding on this top piece. We've already got support from this nut here for the rest, so you can see why I want to go down that route. I know not everyone's going to agree with me, but at the end of the day, this is what I believe to be the most straightforward way of solving this issue. Yes, we do still need to have a spacer made down here at the bottom. We still need to cut these off so there's movement in it. They're all little things, but ultimately this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying this is how you have to do it, but personally this is how I'm going to tackle this problem. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy on here making YouTube videos, and you don't have to take it for gospel. Take it with a pinch of salt. But anyway, I'm going to go and take all this back off. I'm going to... oh yeah. So these have just turned up today. It's an M16 thread, 1.5 pitch thread, and it's going to be ideal just to do this centre of the stem. I don't actually have the tool to do this, so what I'm going to be doing is taking everything off and taking it all to my friend Matt, who you've seen in previous videos, help out with some bits and bobs, and he's going to get it all sorted for me. Then hopefully we'll be able to come back and test it out with this temporary bolt I have. This is a little bit long as well, but this is all I could get hold of for today, so what I'm probably going to do is just chop it down to about 1 inch, because that's all we're going to need really. And yeah, see if we can get these forks to fit. So let's go over to Matt's unit now and see what he thinks. Now, I forgot to mention this is all that holds on the top yoke currently. It's aluminium, it's got very, very shallow thread. But anyway, this is no good. What we're putting in place should be a lot better. So Matt's told me I've got to do the tapping because, is it hard work, I'm guessing?
No, because it's your bolt.
Okay.
I'll get it square for you, then after that you're on your own, mainly because you bought me like an 1.5 inch long bolt.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to stand here I'm not going to stand here and start tapping an 1.5 inch long bolt.
That's fair enough. Anyway, let's get to work. Tapped in now, nice job done on that. While we're here, we're going to cut off the bump stops and smooth them down, and then I'll order some new ones and we can start working on that part of the front end. But just for now, we're just going to cut them off so we've got a bit more freedom while we're working on the forks. So let's get them cut off. So now we've got the, what did we do last? I've completely forgotten what the last part of the video is. So we've got the bottom yoke all cleaned up now. The next part is to make some washers. This one is already been made up. This is for the bottom. This is going to let the bearing sit higher up so it sits into the steering stem, which I'll show you later on when we get back why. But we still need to make one for the top for the nut to sit onto. So we've got this big fancy machine here to kind of do the cutting for us. So yeah, let's see it get to work. So that's it, we've got the washers and spacers we need to get this front end to fit. It's nice having parts that are made in this way. It's so interesting to see it all come together and how kind of like something that would be quite a difficult thing to make by hand is so easy on a machine like this. But yeah, oh yeah. So all we've got to do now is go back and actually get it all fitted to the bike. I am excited. Right, we are back with the bike and everything is all done as you saw. Thanks again to Matt at Rushwork Performance. I'll leave his details down below. He's a really good friend and he's helped me out a lot with this bike, so go and check out his website, go check out his Facebook page and tell him I sent you. Oh no. And yeah, go and have a look at what he's all about. So we've put this spacer in and you're probably wondering why I've done that. Let me show you. So you can see there's a bit of a gap from where the bearing shim starts and the collar ends. That's pretty much the reason why I put this spacer in. So the collar doesn't hit the bottom of the yoke and it gives it enough room for the spacer to sit nicely in its shim. Right, so to demonstrate, if I put the spindle up and the bearing in place, that's pretty much up there as far as it will go. And you can see now that the clearance is pretty much perfect. So now we've got everything we need, we can finally get this front end assembled. So that is it guys, we've got the front end fitted. I absolutely love the look of these forks. They are so much more aggressive than the original. There's probably going to be some more messing we need to do when we put the wheel on and the brakes on. They are looking a little bit shorter than the original, but that's just the way these things are. Hopefully we'll be able to match the rear. So in the next episode we will be fitting the front wheel and all that such thing. And also I have bought a rear wheel for the bike to match. But we will go over that in the next episode. But as always guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you with your builds. If you leave a like, that would help massively. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And as always, I shall see you in the next video.